Welcome to Murf's Turf, a Star Trek Prodigy podcast. This is Star Trek's first kids show, premiering on Paramount Plus, also playing on Nickelodeon. My name is Brent, aka Dad, and with me is my progeny, because everyone who is doing one of these podcasts, especially with their own child, is referring to them as progeny these days. Jude. Say hi, Jude.
Hi, Jude.
Say hi, Jude, to all of our new and returning listeners.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, Jude, we've got it. We've got a ton, man. Can I tell you something?
What?
Just over this last 2 or 3 days, we started that Twitter account
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago. We've had almost 200 new followers in the last 2 or 3 days.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know, right? So
Yeah. Whoa.
yeah, so hello to all of our new listeners. This is Murf's Turf. Like I said, a Star Trek Prodigy podcast. This is one where we feature Jude and his opinions, and then I just sort of am here to press the buttons and make things go. Jude, what are we talking about today?
Prodigy's 9th show, second to last episode of the first season.
It might be the next to last episode of the first season.
Who knows? Maybe they're going to go on for 10 more, and then that's the next season.
I don't know. It's weird because they originally told us that the first season was going to be 10 episodes, right? And then we heard, at least in my recollection, and then we heard they've already been approved for a season 2.
Ooh.
And then we heard what they're going to do is they're actually going to come out with another 10 episodes of season 1, later in the year. So is that actually more season 1, or is that season 2? Or
It might be a little bit of recap of what happened before all the miners.
the backstory. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what it is, but frankly, as long as we get more Star Trek Prodigy.
Fine.
There it is. Absolutely. Yeah, we're talking about the 9th episode, though. A Moral Star Part 1. Jude, I bet you can't guess what the name of the episode is next week.
Something.
Say A Moral Star Part 2, Dad.
Oh, really? Just part 2? A Moral Star part 2?
Yep, that's right. I keep saying mortal. It's not mortal. A Moral Star Part 2. Jude, there's a thing out there called an anagram. Have you ever heard of an anagram, maybe in school or something?
What's an anagram?
So an anagram is when you take a word and then you take the letters and you shuffle them all up and make a new word. Okay.
Okay.
A Moral Star is an anagram, meaning you shuffle all the letters up, for Tars Lamora. And Tars Lamora is
The prison?
yeah, it's the mining colony.
The heck?
Yeah. So the Hageman brothers confirm it is an anagram for it. So
What?
I know. Jude, you know what? We had a bit of a kerfuffle trying to watch the episode this week.
Kerbuckle.
Yeah. Normally we have a rule here that there's no TV till after school, right?
Yes.
Yeah. However, being that this show had so much energy behind it and so much promotion, and we were really excited, both of us were, that I said, okay, on Thursday, Jude, if you get up early, we'll watch it before school. So you come bounding into my room, you start jumping on my chest, and you're like, Dad, it's here, Dad. And we it's so early, the sun's not even up yet. The sun wasn't stupid enough to be awake yet. And we get up and I'm rubbing my eyes, and you got the little eye crunchies and all that kind of stuff. And we sit down to watch it and we turn it on and
It's not there.
it's not there. And I was so confused. It was so early in the morning, and I even reset the whole thing, the whole TV. I reset I use Fire Stick to access Paramount Plus. I reset that. I checked our Apple TV because we have one of those as well. I checked my phone. I checked the iPad. It wasn't anywhere, nowhere whatsoever. So we're out there tweeting, and we're like, okay, what's going on? Does somebody know what's happening? The Hageman brothers are like, hey, we're in the dark just as much as y'all are. We don't know what's going on.
Kentucky accent, y'all.
that is right. Yeah, that's it comes out every once in a while. So
Yeah.
So we go through our day, and then somewhere around lunchtime, the Hageman brothers are like, hey, it's back up. And I see this tweet, Jude. I don't know if I told you this or not. I see this tweet by I think it was Star Trek on Paramount Plus, which is the Twitter account that is over all of Star Trek like that's currently being made.
Okay.
Okay. Like I don't know who's actually behind that particular account.
Like Discovery.
Yeah, it's like Discovery and then Lower Decks and Picard and obviously Prodigy and whatever else is Strange New Worlds, which is getting ready to start. And it's a picture. I think it was a picture of Dreadnought. And it says something to the effect of pro tip, always remember to back up your files. So it's one of those where I'm just like, okay, did somebody like delete the file accidentally? You know,
That'd
so
be funny. Like, oopsies, I deleted the file. I'm just going to go home and cry in my bed now.
yeah, I hope somebody didn't get fired over this. I'm sure that there was a lot of people, like particularly at the studio and stuff, that were really mad and really whatever. And I tell you, Jude, I really hope that someday soon we get the story of what happened that day.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just something we could laugh at, you know, like collectively as a group. You know what I mean? Like, no harm, no foul. The show got out.
Yeah.
Somebody just made a mistake. They pushed the wrong button.
We got Prodigy.
Yeah, there you go. We got Prodigy, and here we are to now talk about it. So, Jude, if somebody from Paramount Plus or the production staff at Prodigy or, you know, with Star Trek as a whole wanted to get in touch with us and tell us the story of what actually happened, or anyone else who just wants to share their thoughts with us, how could they do that?
At Murf's Turf Prodigy Podcast at gmail.com.
Not at all. Try it again.
Murf's Turf Pod at our Twitter account.
That's our Twitter account. Yeah, at Murf's Turf Pod. Good. Try the email address one more time.
Murf's Turf Podcast at gmail.com.
There it is. Good job, Jude. I need one of those like bells, like ding, 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 ding. Good job, Jude. Murf's Turf Podcast, gmail.com. You guys can do that. And there's one more way they can get in touch with it, Jude. Jude, what is it?
A review.
They can leave us ratings and reviews. And guys, here's the deal. If you leave us a rating and review, if you send us an email or you tweet at us, guess what? We're going to read it on air. And we didn't get any new emails this week, Jude. We didn't get any new tweets that were directed, you know, here to the show, but we did get a new review. So why don't we go check that out? This is over on Apple Podcasts. This is a 5-star review.
Yay.
Yeah, that's the biggest one you can get. This is from Big Bucks Mama.
Okay.
Now that the word Bucks there, just it's Bucks is in short for Buccaneers. So I'm just assuming this might be a person that followed me over from another podcast of a certain professional sports team that I used to do a podcast for. But regardless, it says this. It says it's so refreshing to listen to a kid, that's you, Jude, talking about Star Trek in a way that I would talk about Star Trek with my friends. Jude and his dad clearly have a great relationship and it comes through in the show. My kids love seeing if they think the same thing Jude does, and they love his predictions. Keep up the great show.
Thank you, Big Buck Mama.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Big Buck Mama. You are awesome. And hey, send in and let us know, like write us and let us know, like, do their predictions line up with Jude's, you know, or what are some of their predictions? All right, Jude, you ready to get into it?
Yep.
All right. Episode 9, A Moral Star Part 1. Fair warning to everyone out there. This is a spoiler-filled podcast. If you're listening beyond this point, we will assume that you have already seen this week's episode of Star Trek Prodigy, in this case, episode 9. So, final warning, from this point forward, spoilers abound. If you haven't watched the episode yet, why? Pause this show. That's okay. Go watch it and then turn around and bring this one back up. Do what?
Don't delete it.
Don't delete it. You know, yeah, exactly. Don't delete it. Come back and do this. All right, Jude, you want to go for the recap on? No, you got me doing it, boy. You want to go for the recap on this one?
Sure, I'll try. As Rock and the crew are sitting in their bunks, Dow knocks over the Dreadnought body. There's a hologram that says, "Bring the Protostar to me or else I will make the prisoners pay." And so there's a big debate about if they should go to the Federation and tell them about it, see if they could get there, or if they should go and try to get out of the impossible situation. So they decide to go to Tars Lamora with the coolest and biggest montage ever. Go fast. Next thing you know, they're at Tars Lamora, and as they get off the ship, they're talking with the diviner, and the diviner takes the Protostar and shoots the Rev 12 engine so they don't have any gravity. But when they take the Protostar, they're missing the protocore, which Murf has inside of him. And then now they're just going to go free all the prisoners and stuff. I don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, it's pretty much where it ended right there. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, Jude, very well done. Very well done. You're getting better and better at those recaps every single week. All right, my friend, how did you like this episode?
I liked it a lot. I think it was it had a lot of strategy in it. It wasn't just like a simple or like it took a lot of planning and mastermind stuff. Like they had a whole plan for it, for everything. And I like how they came up with the plan, and I like how the episode was made. I don't know how I like it. I just like it, you know? What did you think of the episode?
You know, Jude, I really like this episode. And I think one of the reasons why is I love movies and I love TV that have such intelligent writing that the first time you watch it, you really don't know what's going on.
No.
Like it's hidden. You don't see it.
Yeah.
Right. But when you go back and watch it a second or even a third time, it was all right in front of you the whole time.
I know, right?
You know? And that was this episode. And like, I remember there was one spot in particular where they're doing the montage, and I think it's that scene where Janeway's like overlooking them, kind of drinking the coffee, where she's like up on the rafters or something.
Yeah.
And like, there's a close up. I want to say it's of Rock Talk, Jude. Okay. And they actually have it in the reflection of her eyes, the fake Zero body. And you can kind of tell that it's a fake Zero body. Like they showed it to you, but if you're just watching, you'd never just see it. Like you had to stop and really look at it because they built it as a reflection in her eyes. Like it was just so intelligent. And then like Jude, it was probably the third time that I was watching it that there was that part where they came off the ship to talk to the diviner, and Zero was there, but you realize they're carrying Zero the entire time, and he's not speaking and he's not moving. He's just there. And even like when they're going, like they're tossing him around and different things like that. And well, of course, because that's not Zero.
Yeah.
You know, Zero's in something else.
Yeah.
So I love when writing can do that. And the other thing that I really love is they took so many things from the previous 8 episodes.
Yeah, I know.
And brought them all into this particular episode. Things like the Kobiyashi Maru.
Yeah.
You know, like they said, you understand what a Kobiyashi Maru is, right?
Yeah, like an unwinnable situation.
There you go.
Except if you cheat, like
and Dow's like, this is our Kobiyashi Maru. Mm-hmm. There were things like
Dow's goggles and the coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Well, especially with the coffee, where it wasn't just Janeway drinking the coffee, but now everybody's drinking the coffee, right?
Yeah.
Right. And you're right. Dow's goggles. Absolutely.
Jenkum's arm
was back in it. Yeah, absolutely. Also, even something really small like the food choices. You remember that? Yeah. Like, I think it was the second episode. It was a real touching scene. Like Jenkum goes and orders this big, huge mound of whatever. And Rock just, she just orders the sludge or whatever that she had back on Tars Lamora. And there's a shot of like Jenkum bringing food out, and there's Rock Talk just enjoying her sludge because that's all she's ever known.
And I think she said like, I have more snacks. Something like that.
Did she? Oh, I missed that one. Yeah, I'll have to look for that next time. So I love that. And then not just the physical things that they brought back all the way through, Jude.
But the mental?
Yeah, like the lessons that they've done. Yeah. So like think of all the lessons we've learned in the first 8 episodes, right? Uh-huh. They like the crew needed to draw on all of those lessons to get through this. Like they had to believe in themselves. They had to stick together. Mm-hmm. They had to understand that the needs of the many outweighed the needs of the few. The needs of those miners outweighed their own personal needs. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That they have to, like I said, work together. They have to trust each other, stay together. Like all of those lessons that we've been talking about, they needed for this particular mission. And I can't wait to see. I hope this next week, like I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I hope this next week isn't so message heavy and is just pew, 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 fun action stuff the whole way, because the Star Trek Prodigy team has done their job in imbuing the show with the lessons that we love of Star Trek. And now it's time just to have a whole bunch of fun and let's just see some space stuff. Yeah.
Murf has a Protostar core inside of him. Maybe he could like have like a cool thing where like he vomits out like a cool laser, like, and he shoots it at the diviner. in Dreadnought.
Oh my gosh, dude. And I mean but that's another thing. Like they established several episodes ago that Murf was indestructible.
Yeah, and they brought that back.
Right. Like if they would have just said, hey, Murf's indestructible in this particular episode, we'd be like, he is? Really? Like you're just going to use that because you now need it? Like we all hate it when sci-fi does that. And sci-fi does stuff like that all the time. Like they just
Wi-Fi?
Sci-fi, science fiction. That's do you know what the word genre means?
Gabra?
Genre. Can you say that?
No.
Genre means the style of TV show. So this is a style that is a science fiction show. And usually science fiction has to do with aliens and space and spaceships and things like that. Although not always. Anyway, Jude, tell me some of your favorite moments from this episode.
The beginning.
As always.
Yeah.
Every single week. Yeah.
On my mark, ready, go fast.
You know what's kind of neat about that particular line, Jude?
What?
So every Starfleet captain has kind of had like their own like
go.
Their own thing that means go. And there was actually a big joke in, I think it was the last season of Discovery, maybe 2 seasons of Discovery ago.
Yeah.
Where the person who was the captain was like trying to figure out like what's their catchphrase gonna be. Like what's their word? What are they gonna say?
I like to move it. I like to move it.
Maybe. Let's hear. So things like, let's hear, Captain Picard, he used to say engage.
Okay.
Captain Pike would say hit it.
Okay.
You know, oh gosh, what else?
Janeway
would say engage because I think she wanted to be a lot like Picard.
Why? Because just in case she comes intact with the Borg, she can be like Picard and get to a normal human again.
Maybe, or Picard's just a good person to emulate and or copy. But there was another one who said, let's fly. So I think having Dal sit here and go fast, like that, that's kind of a nod to that. So that one was really funny. Yeah, I did like that scene though.
Cargo transporto is a go-go.
Jacob, you know, I got to tell you, Jude,
Jacob's funny.
I was going to say, as much as we give Murf a lot of love on the show, and as much as we give Rock Talk a lot of love on the show, and honestly, as much as we give Dal a lot of crap on the show, Jacob's a guy we don't talk about enough. Like Jacob's really a great character.
No, like when we were on that show with
Emily and Mike.
Yeah.
You guys that's discovering Trek Prodigy. Yeah.
They were saying favorite characters, and I was like, Murf. I was like, who else? Now, if I could go back I said Rock, but if I could go back and say it, it'd be Jankum.
There you go.
Jacob's funny.
Jacob's great. Jacob's really, really great. One of my favorite scenes from Jacob was when they were in the conference room and they're all going around talking about what they're going to do. And he has this big psych out. He's like, going and rescuing the miners is a bad call and one that Jankum would be proud to make with you dum-dums. Like, it was so good.
Hoot toot, hoot toot.
Oh, yeah, Zero hooting. Have we heard Zero hooting before this episode?
No, it's that was so good. Tacky. Like you have a perfect, neatly happy and perfect, and then there's hoot toot that just comes out.
If anybody out there doesn't know what Jude's referencing, it's a children's book about penguins. Tacky the Penguin. It's really good. Go read it. Go ahead, Jude. What else you got for us? Jankum's
got Zero, but who's got Jankum? Ah! That was when that happened. I almost laughed out loud, but my sister Evie was sleeping, and I'm like, "Shh, me."
Keep it inside.
Yeah, and that's all I got for favorite moments.
Okay, well, I got a couple in here for you. Dal's head tail is a grabby head tail.
Yeah, I know,
we saw, right? Yeah! Oh my gosh, that about freaked me out. Jude, I'm so glad you pointed that out to me a couple weeks ago, because if I would have just now noticed that thing for the first time, like I would have had a freak out moment.
You would have had a heart attack?
Maybe not a heart attack, but I would have definitely been like, oh, what is that? But a quick little story behind that. Aaron, one of the show writers who's tweeted us a few times, he was talking to somebody about it, and he said in the writer's room, they call it a prehensile skull pseudopod.
Ugh.
Okay, now that's a lot of big words.
A pre-blockafagabazigaba.
No, prehensile skull pseudopod. That's a couple of big words. Let me break them down for you, okay? Because I want to see what he's actually saying here. All right, prehensile. You know what that word means?
Nope.
That means you can grab stuff.
Ew.
Like, all right, like your
Ew.
hands are prehensile. A giraffe's tongue is prehensile. Elephant's trunk is prehensile. Like they can grab stuff.
Our
Okay?
arm or hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your fingers, and it's actually be more your fingers than your arm.
Yeah.
So prehensile. Skull means
Noggin, woggin, foggin. Noggin.
your noggin, right? Your head. Noggin. Let's go with noggin. I'm gonna go with noggin. That's good. Pseudo. Do you know what pseudo means?
Nope.
Pseudo means fake,
Fake.
like not real. And then pod means
Podcast.
nope. It means foot. So what Aaron just said that they're calling this thing a prehensile skull pseudopod means it's a grabby noggin fake foot.
What?
I don't know. I just try to picture Dal like doing headstands and like using this thing like a tripod to help hold him up, but it doesn't work because it's fake.
Literally, it's a headstand. Like,
It's like a head kickstand, right?
oh, and you said that. Oh no. Wait. Is he going to be able to fight like punch, pow, pow? And then he does his little grabby tail and it
Like he's punching, all of a sudden his tail like hits somebody in the face like a whip, like it just moves on its own.
yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Or maybe something that would just gross you out and make you want to go puke.
Uh-huh.
Maybe his arm will maybe his head tail prehensile pod thingy
Mhm.
will come out and like it'll go grab stuff and bring it to him and like a phaser and stuff like that. But like he hasn't been able to control his powers.
Yeah.
Like the aliens from Heroes like throw their arms out.
There you go. All right, Jude. I gotta tell you one thing I like a lot is I'm sorry. We gotta talk about this. Let's talk about Dark Janeway.
Painway.
Yeah, I saw somebody out there say that. They called her Painway. Dark Janeway, man, she looks so good like that. Like she looks evil, but she looks so cool, man. What'd you think of Dark Janeway?
Scary.
You think she's scary?
Cool. Weird.
What was your when she popped up on screen and she's got like her face is all pale and her hair is all dark and she's
In
got
a
the
black
green
uniform.
Yeah, but it had like that green
I know.
glowy stuff like the luminous stone costume in Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was stupid expensive to buy.
Sure, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. But it had that green glowy thing. She looked awesome. But what? So I mean, take me through that moment for you, Jude. She pops up like they erase the other Janeway, and then she pops in. What are your thoughts? What's going on in your head?
Holy beep. Like I did not know what to think. Like, is this a Janeway? Like gonna be like a Goldar to the Diviner, and the Diviner's like Lord Zed. Like,
Jude, I love your cross franchise references, man. They're amazing.
Yeah, like I don't know what went through my brain, but like I was confused, kind of scared, but like not scared.
Yeah, scared is a good word because I was like, oh crap. Like that was I remember that was my thought, like oh no, like they just turned her.
Oh no. No.
I'm so editing that out of the show. I can't stand that.
No.
Oh my gosh, I hate that thing. All right. Jude, okay. I got three more things. Two of them are something that somebody said.
Okay.
And then I want to talk about the third thing. The first one is what somebody said. I really love the part where when they revealed to us that the Protostar was missing.
Yeah.
And that it was sitting in Murf's body, that they flashed back to Gwen and she looked up and she went, lose something. Because at that moment, like you realize this is all a part of the plan. Gwen being on the ship and flying away with the Diviner is a part of their plan. And everything's going to exactly the way that they had their plan set out, or at least except for maybe the gravity being gone, you know?
Gravity.
So I love that moment, like, because it looked like they were out of control. It looked like they were going to lose. And then all of a sudden she goes, lose something. And it's like, yeah, they're still in control. Yeah. The other one was this, when they're floating there in Tars Lamora, the rest of the crew, and they're like, okay, you can stop screaming now. And they're like, well, we didn't plan on him shutting off the power grid, and now we're going to be floating. And Dow says the greatest words he's probably said, the most captain words he's ever said, since this whole show started, which is, hey, we can still do it. It might just be a little harder, but we can still do it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's such a great outlook. Such a great outlook. Okay, Jude, one more thing I want to talk about. How can we get out of this particular segment without talking about the brand new uniforms?
Oh, I forgot about that.
How could you forget about that?
I don't know. I was so focused up on Jankum's got 0, but who has Jankum? In the beginning, and
All right, uniforms. Talk to me about the uniforms, man.
they were cool.
Yeah.
If I wanted a Star Trek costume, I want that.
Now, Jude, I know you haven't watched a lot of Star Trek, but you have seen it because like you walk through the room when I'm watching Star Trek. So you've seen the various
Yeah.
uniforms that are out there. Are you saying this is the one that you want?
Yes.
Yeah. And right, you should, because this is your Star Trek.
Yeah.
So you should want to dress like this. They look so good, Jude. I thought they looked awesome. Did you notice Zeros?
Yeah, I know they like painted it on her. That's so cool.
Yeah, painted right on the metal work and stuff, which it probably took me seeing it like 3 times before I noticed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't even notice
I
it.
thought you noticed it at the beginning because I did, and I was like, ooh, and like I thought you were still going ooh from like.
No, I just didn't notice it. Like, you know what I did notice was I finally noticed that Zero had his own Delta, the comm badge.
He did?
Yeah, he had his own comm badge, and I thought that was cool that they had that on him.
Wait, why do they need to do that? Why can't he just have like a brand thing where he's like in his mind, he's like, is everything okay, Dal? Like he goes through.
Well, but don't forget, so the comm badge serves multiple functions.
Yeah.
One, it's something called a universal translator. Okay, which admittedly for Zero, it may not be a big deal because he has the mind thing. But for everybody else, like imagine when you go out and fly into outer space. Do you think everybody out there is speaking English?
No.
No. So this is like a device that can take like whatever language somebody else is speaking and immediately translate it into English so that you hear it as English, which is pretty cool. Imagine if you had that. You could go anywhere in this world and you had like a device on your shirt that would make everything sound like it was in English. That's pretty neat, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty super neat. So it's that, but it's also the communicator.
Okay.
Like it's the physical communicator.
Whoop. Hey,
right?
yo, Dal, is everything okay? Beep.
Yep.
Bop.
So it's kind of like their phone, right?
Yeah.
The other thing it is it's basically like their GPS device. It tells the rest of the crew where you are. You know, like when you have your watch, because you have your special watch, right? You know, that has a GPS device in it.
Yeah.
That mom and dad can track. Like we know where you are at all times as long as you have your watch on you. Do you know that? I probably shouldn't tell you this. I don't want you to know this, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Dang it.
No, but I mean, that's in case something were to happen to you.
Yeah.
As long as you have your watch on you, we can find you.
Yeah.
We can track you, you know?
Yeah, that's a good safety protocol.
And it also is very helpful for when you lose your watch, Jude.
Yeah.
So somebody else gets a uniform. Janeway changed her uniform and got into the new one as well.
Yeah, that was so cool.
That one was really cool. I got to tell you one thing I liked about these uniforms though, Jude. You said it, you want to go as a costume. And I got to tell you, I do too. And you want to know why?
Why?
Because, you know, Jude, I've been a big guy my whole life. I've been very tall and a little on what we shall call the fluffy side, the rounder side. Okay. And I've been this way, you know, pretty much my whole life. And something about Star Trek is Star Trek has always, like most TV, featured thin people, you know, and I get it. It's a military organization, although it's not supposed to be military. They're in ships. It, you know, just kind of looks better on TV. Sure. I get all of that, but I've never felt like I could successfully like dress up in a Starfleet uniform. You know what I mean? And at least look good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But something that this crew is doing is, and particularly in the characters of Jankum and Rocktalk, but even when you look at Dal and Gwen and even Murf and even Zero,
Murf.
we have so many different body sizes and body shapes.
Yeah, for the first time, there's like uniforms for big kids.
And big grown-ups too.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can now, it's called cosplay. You know, when you dress up and you dress up like somebody. Like, I feel like I could do this. And I got to tell you, I think that they need to make these costumes at the costume shop in every size.
Yes.
Like go up to 100 XL if you have to. I don't care. Make one for every size because one of the things that Jude is so important about Star Trek that you guys understand, and we try to teach you this as parents all the time. It doesn't matter how big, small, fat, skinny, what color your hair is, what color your eye, what color your skin, whether you're made of skin or whether you're made of rock or whether you're made of goo or whether you're made of metal, you know, whether you have big teeth or little teeth, whether you have a head tail or no head tail. What matters is who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's where your value as an individual lies, is in who you are, not what you look like. And this crew is showing us that everyone has value and giving representation to everybody. So I don't know that the showrunners meant to do that, Jude, but I say kudos to them for doing it anyway. And yeah, cannot wait to get to cosplay this. All right, Jude, I don't really have anything in like a For the Trekkie segment like we normally do, like anything that old school Trek watchers would notice and think, oh yeah, there's a big thing. Because frankly, this episode was just so chock full of everything else going on. I also don't know that we learned anything. We have questions from week to week.
I did.
You did learn something. Now I'm not talking about the big lesson learned. I'm talking about, when we have questions. I don't think we had any questions get answered. Did you have any questions, like maybe from a previous week that got answered?
No, not really.
No. And you know what makes me really upset about that?
They were so close.
They were so close.
So they're in the ship with the diviner, or Gwen's in the ship with the diviner, and they're talking and they're like, tell me the truth. They sit down with their little blue head. I'm blue, da boo dee da boo da. And with their blue heads, and like they're like kind of doing like a Medusan mind thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Gwen says like, I need answers. And I'm thinking in that moment, I'm like, he's not going to give us an answer. And then he goes, the ship is, and I went, oh, they're going to give us answers. And then he goes, our salvation. And I went, bah, give us answers.
Yeah, he was so close.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were doing the head mind thing. And then he just flips her away because she was hiding something. And I was like, no.
Yeah. And that was good. And it was right after that we got she looked up at him and went, missing something or lose something.
So is Gwen's malleable matter thingy, is it like a part of her? Because like when she hit Dreadnought 2's head,
mm-hmm.
it was around her body, or like it was around her wrist. You never saw it in her hand. It just kind of went down, spiked it, and then came right up.
Mm-hmm.
So was it like attached to her skin around her wrist, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we've certainly seen it leave her hand, and I definitely think it was wrapped around her, but she still somehow controls it with her mind. And I want to find out more about this weapon that she has, because it looks so cool on camera,
Yeah.
Honestly, I was glad to see it because I don't feel like we've seen that in the last several bunch of episodes.
Yeah.
I feel the last time we saw it was like when she broke her leg way back in like episode 5 or something, and she used it as a cast. I don't think we've really seen it since then, or at least I don't think she's used it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, she does have it as like a little bracelet, which I just noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Jankum has a red mohawk. I've never seen that. I've never noticed that before. I'm like, he has a red mohawk?
What color did you think he had?
I don't know, but how did he get that? He was on a prison for his whole life, maybe.
Uh-huh.
How did he dye his hair red? Or does his species only have like red hair in its DNA? Oh, that's weird if it does.
Well, it doesn't necessarily need to be his whole species as long as he does.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe he, they're out there drilling that chimerium, and he would use a bit to like shave the rest of his head, or maybe he just doesn't have hair growing on the rest of his head. Like that's the only spot in his head that hair grows.
Yeah. And like I cannot imagine him bald or with nice golden hair. Oh, jeez. Oh, that would not look good. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen it, but that would not look the prettiest. And that's really all I have with things we learned. So questions we have going forward.
Yeah. What questions do you have going forward?
In the last episode 8, Dreadnought's body was never finished.
Mm-hmm.
So how did they have the whole body sitting next to Dow?
I'm not sure if the body never got finished, or I'm not entirely sure what it was. I don't exactly know what all they had next to Dow to begin with, to be honest with you. All I remember at the end is we saw his head, because remember we were back in Rock's timeline, right?
Yeah.
We saw the head, and then we saw the light kind of turn on,
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that we saw. So I'm not entirely sure. I have to go back and look and see. Do you have any other questions? Things that sparked your mind energy?
Yeah. Why did they have this like big, huge ball like a hologram ball. Like, was that like the universe or what? What was it?
Yeah, I definitely think that was like a map of all the stars, and they're trying to figure out like where they're gonna go. But I don't know. That'll be real interesting. I hope that we learn a lot more about the Protostar here in the coming episodes, and that'll become clear what that was that they had.
There's one more that I had, and I just can't think of it right now.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, I've got 3, and if you think of yours, let me know. We'll come back to it. Okay.
Okay.
So all 3 of mine have to do with the diviner.
Okay.
All right. And they're kind of similar to things that I've already said on previous weeks, because as we stated earlier, we didn't really get any answers this week.
No, we didn't.
So I really still need to know why the ship is so important to the diviner, right? He just said it's our salvation, but he also says this, and I want to know what he means. He says there are needs greater than either of us, the diviner says, and I want to know, what are those needs? Who is he talking about? I suspect it has something to do with that order that we saw in the flashback a while ago that wouldn't let him have kids. But again, I want to know what that's all about. Like, what are these needs? What are you talking about? There's something, it almost feels like there's something bigger out there. Like, we look at the diviner as the big bad guy. Maybe there's a bigger bad guy that's bigger than the diviner out there. And the diviner's actually, we'll learn he's just like a small player in the whole thing.
Ooh.
You know?
Yeah, like from She-Ra, like there's this big, huge empire, like, but there's this like little bad guy who's like in control of a planet. But, like, that planet is separated from the rest of the universe. And so they think that he's the big, huge bad guy. Then once this big dude comes in, with weird snake hair, he just almost takes over everything. Like, but he's the real bad guy.
I can think of numerous examples where a TV show or a movie starts with, hey, here's the bad guy, here's the bad guy. And then you find out he's actually just somebody who works for the bigger, more powerful bad guy. So yeah, it's a common trope. So I haven't seen She-Ra. I feel like I should sit down and watch it with you guys. I remember watching the old She-Ra back in the day because I was a big He-Man fan. Big He-Man fan. All right.
He-Man.
The other one, the third one I have has to do with the diviner. I want to know why he hates Starfleet so much. You know, he looked at Gwen and he said, do you know what that uniform represents? And she said, yeah, it represents striving for a better tomorrow. And he goes, lies and hypocrisy. Like, what has been his dealing with Starfleet that has made him so like hateful against Starfleet, you know? And so it really all has to do with the diviner's past. Like, I need more information about this guy that I hope we're going to get.
Yeah, who knows? We might not get anything. Maybe it's just something that they put in there on accident.
Well, I don't think they put it in there on accident, but I do think you might be right. I think we might not be getting those answers, at least not in this next episode, at least not before the next set of episodes, after we have another long hiatus that we hate.
We hate hiatus.
Yeah, we
Part
do.
2 after 5 episodes in between.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jude. Well, let's begin to round this out. We talked about things we learned, but let's talk about some lessons. Star Trek always has lessons that it's trying to teach us. What lessons did you get out of this particular episode?
I didn't get any lessons like that was only made for this episode.
Okay.
They were all lessons from previous episodes, like believe in yourself, work as a team, trusting each other, like all of the ones from all of the other episodes. Like, there was no new lesson for this episode. Yes, maybe there was.
Well, I had a couple.
Wait, I have one.
Oh, go ahead.
I have one.
Go ahead.
Right when you think they're going to give you answers, they don't.
No. No, that might be a lesson, but that's more in what is it? Serialized storytelling on the part of the producers. Jude, you might be right. It may not be anything new, but there were definitely some phrases that we heard in this episode that I want to make sure that I point out to you and to everybody out there listening, because they're pretty important. One came from Janeway, where she said to the team, she said, "Today you're risking everything on a seemingly impossible mission to bring hope to others. Nothing is more Starfleet than that." And that's such a great, Starfleet is who we should strive to be. It's who we should want to be as a people. Star Trek is all about the hope of the future, the hope that we can get there, the hope that we're going to make it. Okay. And here we're seeing these guys risk everything to go bring hope. The needs of the many are outweighing the needs of the few. Like, it's worth it to go bring hope to other people, to think of other people. And so I love that. The other one is what I just quoted from Gwen later in the episode where she says, he says, do you know what that uniform represents? And she said, striving for a better tomorrow.
Future.
Yeah. Striving for a better future. That's right. Striving for a better future. And Jude, listen, that's what we got to do, man.
Yeah. So like if the world would just sit down and watch Star Trek, like the world will be far better.
My boy. I say that all the time, don't I, Jude?
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe this with everything in me. I think the world is better when Star Trek is on TV. And I think the world needs to sit down and watch Star Trek together. 4 episodes just like this, because the idea that we can actually strive towards a better future, towards a better hope for tomorrow, it is exactly what Starfleet's all about. And it's a big thing. It's really what we are doing here. So, Jude, with that, let's round the show out. You ready, buddy?
Aww.
We got one more episode. What do you think's going to happen next week?
I hope answers and action.
There you go. I'm with you. I've got one thing that I think maybe Gwen has another comm badge on her, right?
Oh, yeah.
You think she has a second comm badge on her, like they're going to use to get her out? I think she has to. Like, I even wonder if the one that the diviner pulled off her chest and broke, like, was that maybe a fake comm badge? Yeah, I don't even know that it matters it was fake. It was just an extra one.
You're stealing it from me.
Yeah, I don't even know that it matters that it was fake.
Who knows? Maybe it was like the malleable matter because you only saw a little bit of it on her hand.
Maybe.
So, like, and you didn't see it on her arm. Who knows? Maybe somebody did, but I didn't.
Yeah, maybe. So I'm with you though, Jude. I think it's probably going to be a lot of pew, pew, pew. I think it's going to be a lot of action, and it's going to be resolving the storyline so far. I think Gwen's got to come back, right? We got to get Gwen back, and they got to rescue the miners, and maybe now they set off towards the Federation. Maybe we find out what happened with Chakotay. Although
or how I say it, Chipotle.
Chipotle. So
where did I get that in my head?
I don't know, buddy, but you definitely did, and now we all do as well. All right, Jude. Well, that's going to do it for us this episode. I'll give you a chance before we sign off here tonight. Any final thoughts on A Moral Star Part 1? Best episode of them all. Is it? Oh, yeah. All right. Very good. Very good. Well, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. That's Murf's Turf, a Star Trek Prodigy podcast. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can email us at murfsurfpodcast@gmail.com. And you can find us on Twitter at murfsurfpod. Yeah, you guys do it there. We'll talk to you guys next time. Ratings, reviews, we'll take all of those. Until next time, folks, stay Murphy. Live long and prosper. Bye.